Yes, GEICO. The place where you can save 15% or more on car insurance, but apparently lose all common sense in the process. You know, folks, I've been there. I've worked on the front lines, the sacred battlefield of customer service. And let me tell you, GEICO has perfected the art of discrimination, but they've outsourced it. That's right, folks. They've outsourced discrimination. And not to some shadowy foreign entity. No. They've handed it directly to you, the customer. Bravo! Who needs diversity training when you can just let customers call the shots with unfiltered surveys, right? Here's how it works. They give you these surveys. Oh yeah, the surveys. The golden ticket to keeping your job. They say, hey, let's see how well you're doing, based on what the customer thinks. But here's the catch, my friends. The customer isn't just judging how well you helped them or how friendly you were. No. They're judging everything. They're judging your tone, your accent, your race, your gender, your age. All of it. And guess what? If you don't fit the right box, that's instant career suicide. It's like playing a game where the rules change halfway through, and if you don't win, you're out. No questions asked. Let me tell you something. How many times did a customer say to me, "Wow, I'm glad you're not from India"? Oh, really? Is that the bar we're setting now, GEICO? If I had a nickel for every time I was told, "I'm glad you're not from India," I'd have probably earned enough to actually leave this job. But here's the thing. So what if I was from India? Does that make it okay to discriminate against me, just because of my accent? What happened to treating people based on their merit and their ability to do their job? Is GEICO saying it's fine to discriminate as long as the survey's results are positive? Really?
It gets worse. What about the people with high-functioning autism? You think these surveys are treating them fairly? Oh no. It's a nightmare for people who are neurodivergent. Imagine trying to keep your job when the system is built around vague, subjective feedback from people who may not understand you, or worse, don't care to. Someone with autism might not express themselves in the socially correct way that GEICO's algorithm wants. They might be quiet or blunt or not engage in the small talk that customers love. But does that mean they're bad employees? No. But these surveys, they love to punish those who don't fit into their neat little box of acceptable behavior. You're punished for being yourself, for having a brain that works differently. And GEICO, like the soulless machine they are, doesn't care. It's just another notch in the scorecard. And guess what? No one at GEICO is ever going to change that scoring system, even if you beg them. Why? Because it works for them. It's like a casino that stacks the deck and then asks, "Why aren't you winning? Maybe you should try harder." Now, let's talk about those unfiltered surveys for a moment. What a joke. You see, GEICO depends on them like a toddler depends on their blankie. But here's the problem. Customers often don't even realize they're evaluating a person's humanity, not just their service. What about the customer who told me, "I'm done talking to insert race people today"? How is that even allowed? How is that part of a metric? GEICO doesn't care, though. They just look at the numbers. They don't care if a customer's survey response was based on personal bias, racism, or just plain bad mood. The survey results are the gospel, the word of God, as far as they're concerned. And those surveys? Well, they weigh more than anything you've done all day. No matter how hard you worked, no matter how much you helped, your fate is sealed by a random customer's grumpy opinion. You see the problem here. The problem isn't just the customers who are allowed to rate us like this. The problem isn't just the surveys themselves. The problem is that GEICO is outsourcing discrimination to the very people we serve. People who don't understand the system, don't care about the system, and most importantly, shouldn't have any power over our livelihoods in the first place. We are the lifeblood of this company, not the numbers. And until GEICO changes the way they treat us, until they stop using surveys to dehumanize workers, until they acknowledge that people with disabilities, different backgrounds, and diverse personalities are valuable employees, then we must stand together. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them say, "We're just doing our best." They're not. They're exploiting us. And until they own up to it, until they truly change, we must fight back. Let me tell you something else. Something they don't want you to know. If I was paid fairly, I'd have enough money to leave GEICO permanently. I'd be able to quit this hellhole and do something with my life. But no, instead I'm living paycheck to paycheck, drowning in credit card debt. All because I can't get a decent raise. It's all tied to these absurd surveys,
These broken metrics that say nothing about my skill, nothing about my work ethic, just about how some customer felt at a random moment in their day. And the worst part? If I'd been saving like a responsible person, if I'd been able to stash just a little bit away, like maybe in Bitcoin, I could have saved myself. I could have left. But no, that's not how it works at GEICO. They'd rather keep you on the treadmill, running at full speed, telling you you're doing great, while your feet are bleeding and your soul is crushing under the weight of their metrics. They want you to stay, stuck in this endless cycle, working harder and harder for less. If I'd had just a fraction of the money I should have been paid, I could have invested. I could have saved enough to leave this mess behind and never look back. Instead, I'm stuck here, trying to survive on a salary that isn't enough to pay rent, let alone build a future. So now what? I'm working a job just to starve to death slowly. Because let's face it, that's what happens when you're stuck in the system. They want you to just keep working, keep grinding, keep taking those calls. And if you're lucky, maybe you'll get nothing because they got rid of profit sharing. Remember profit sharing? Oh, that was the little glimmer of hope we had. The idea that we could see a return on all the work we did. We helped make this company millions, and we were told, hey, you're a part of this success. Let's reward you for your effort. But now, they've cut that out completely. They don't want to share the wealth with the people who make it happen. They just want to keep all that sweet profit for themselves. They want to keep it all. So now we work harder than ever, do everything we're told, push harder for the metrics, and what do we get? Nothing. The company is making billions, and we're left scraping by. No profit sharing, no raises, no recognition. They've pulled that rug out from under us. And now we're left with what? Nothing but our efforts, unnoticed and unappreciated. All because unfair survey metrics are ruining everything. Surveys that don't take into account your life, your disabilities, or your situation. They see you as a number, not a human being. It's all just a game to them. But I'm not playing anymore. I should be building a future. I should be getting ahead, not falling further and further into debt with every passing day. But GEICO doesn't care. They don't care if you've got credit card debt or if you're struggling to make ends meet. They don't care if you're a single parent or dealing with a disability. They just care about their bottom line. And that's why I'm still here, scraping by, just trying to survive. But not anymore. Not anymore. I'm done. I may be just one man, but in this hellhole, I'm the last man standing. I'm not backing down no matter what they throw at us. GEICO can toss their surveys, their metrics, their lies, but in the end, they'll crush us all, one by one, until there's nothing left but the remnants of broken spirits. They'll break you down, make you believe it's your fault, make you think you're the one who failed. But they'll never fix this system. Not until it rots from the inside. Not until every last shred of dignity is stripped away. You think you'll rise against them? No, you won't rise. They'll grind you down until there's nothing left to give. They've turned this into a game, and we're the pawns. But don't fool yourself into thinking there's an easy way out. When GEICO falls, it won't be a glorious uprising. It'll be the final collapse of a dying empire. A death rattle, louder than their profits. And the people who still work here, they won't remember us. They'll be too busy serving the next corporate monster that comes along to chew us up. They've already won. And as for us, we'll keep choking on their surveys until there's nothing left but dust. They'll never remember the working class. They'll never care. So don't bother dreaming of redemption. We're trapped, and they're laughing at us from their golden thrones, toasting their bonuses as we drown. The truth is, we don't matter. We never did. And let's talk about Todd Combs for a second, shall we? This man, this so-called CEO, is no better than the villain from some sick horror film. You remember Jigsaw, right? The twisted psychopath who traps people in death games, forces them to choose between torment and survival, all the while pretending to teach them some moral lesson. That's Todd. He's our Jigsaw. He doesn't care about your well-being. He doesn't care if you live or die. He only cares about his own sick game, about watching us suffer, just to see how far we'll bend before we break. You're in the same position as someone Jigsaw has kidnapped. You're strapped to that chair, your hands bound, forced to play along with his twisted rules, never knowing when the next round of torment is coming. And guess what? GEICO is the trap, and we're the ones stuck in it.
You think this system's about working hard, about earning a living? No, it's about control. It's about stripping us of everything, piece by piece, until we're so broken, so desperate, that we'll do anything to survive. But like those poor souls in Jigsaw's traps, some of us have already drunk the Kool-Aid. We've been brainwashed into thinking this is normal. We're the ones who still believe, hey, if I just follow the rules, if I just play the game, maybe I'll get ahead.
But here's the thing. You're already dead. You just don't realize it yet. The trap's already set, and we're playing for a prize that doesn't exist. Those who still believe in GEICO's promises, those who think they'll be rewarded for their loyalty, are just the next victims who haven't figured out they've been locked in a cage. Todd Combs isn't your savior. He's your tormentor. He's playing a game with your life, and the longer you stay, the worse it gets. And some of you, like the fools in Jigsaw's traps, still think there's a way out. But there isn't. Not unless you wake up and realize you're trapped, and Todd's the one holding the key to your misery.